Right before Xiaoyu stepped into the hidden chamber, destruction tore through the ruins of Jianghai City as the death-winged angel rained absolute hell on everything below. Terrified players screamed as buildings crashed down around them, completely helpless against the monster's power. Yet, during the panic, a survivor holding onto some debris realized something shocking. This scary creature was the exact boss Shadow had just put a massive bounty on. He yelled in anger, furious that Shadow had everyone searching the entire world while the boss was right here slaughtering people. He then began shouting curses, blaming Shadow for being a fool who was going to get everyone killed. Then, a hand suddenly touched his shoulder. Shadow appeared right behind him and asked who he was cursing so badly. Terrified, the man immediately started begging Shadow to save him, quickly pointing all his insults at the death-winged angel instead. Shadow told him to find a place to crawl into and hide. While the player dropped to his knees to thank him, Shadow stepped forward and wrapped himself in a dark aura. Up in the sky, the death-winged angel floated in a storm of red lightning and blue souls. She smiled to herself, knowing that even though these weak players did not give much lifespan, their many souls made a perfect feast. If this kept going, her final evolution would be complete once all the players gathered together, just as the small cloaked human had promised her. Suddenly, a flash of blue energy cut through the air, slicing right across the angel's waist before she could even notice it, leaving her in complete shock. Before she could move, Shadow quickly hit her throat with his instant Shadow Slash, dealing 6.8 million damage in one strike. The level 35 epic boss was stunned, unable to understand how a player in a game that was only a month old could do such crazy damage. The remaining players watched in disbelief as the giant boss's health bar dropped instantly. They knew Shadow was there, but they were confused because they could not see him at all, remembering that he usually appeared for a split second when he attacked. The angel quickly looked around. Even with her level 30 anti-stealth skill, she could not find any trace of him. Realizing that his attacks no longer broke his invisibility, she now understood why the cloaked man wanted an alliance so badly just to defeat Shadow. Shadow was not impressed by her 60 million health and 50% damage reduction. To him, an epic boss at this point was surprisingly weak, so he activated his ultimate skill, Endless Nightmare, to finish the fight quickly. Dark purple energy filled the area, instantly filling up her nightmare gauge. The death-winged angel was frozen in place as the terrifying fear of Shadow's skill locked onto her. In the next instant, Shadow used Shadow Slash, hitting her throat for 12.6 million damage. Angry, she unleashed her heavenly rays. Hot beams of bright light rained down on the entire area, destroying the ground and making the surviving players run away screaming. But Shadow did not take any damage. Dodging easily through the falling light, he focused his energy and disappeared. A second later, he appeared right behind the boss in the air. Using his skill, Crimson Blade, he slashed a deep red line through her back, taking away another huge part of her health bar. The angel panicked, realizing she would die if she stayed. She flew up into the sky at top speed, wondering where her cloaked ally's backup was. As he watched her run, Shadow calmly thought about the situation. He knew that if a boss got too far from its target, it would go back to where it came from. This meant the angel did not appear here naturally, and someone had brought her to the city on purpose. He knew that the only character class capable of keeping a high-level boss's attention while staying completely safe was a Soul Walker. Calling his skeletal dragon, Shadow flew up to chase her. He decided that since people kept using dirty tricks against him, it was time to find out who was behind it all. Right after he took the angel's bloodline for himself. Meanwhile, panic spread on the streets below as scared players ran through the ruined buildings, looking for any way to escape before they got caught in the fight. Suddenly, Song Xiaoyu appeared on a high ledge. Waving at the running crowd, she told them she had set up a magic circle to help them escape, asking them to stay calm and line up to step inside. The players ran into the circle, calling her a beautiful savior. However, as soon as the area was full of people, her sweet smile turned into a scary grin. It was a trap because Song Xiaoyu had started her slave spell. It was a 10-hour spell that slowly controlled the minds of everyone inside until they lost all control. Soon, the players' eyes turned into glowing pink hearts as they became mindless servants who worshipped her. Looking at the huge crowd of controlled people, Song Xiaoyu whispered to her dead brother, Song Fei, asking him to watch her. Standing proudly in front of her army of brainwashed puppets, she promised that this time, she would take Shadow's head herself and finally get her revenge. Elsewhere in the ruined city, Huang Ziqing came out of the shadows with his masked followers, saying that it was finally time for them to make their move.